Welcome back to another episode of the Red Devils podcast. Manchester United nil, Wolverhampton Wanderers nil as well. What a game. Evenly matched teams, I would say. Both teams were in it, particularly Wolves towards the end. Gentlemen, how are you this evening before we get started?
Fucking falling off to sleep, mate.
Sense of boredom, that I guess that kind of sets the tone for this podcast. Yeah. But anyways, I think it's fair to say that this result was something that we weren't expecting, especially you two, after the 2-1 predictions in favor of Wolves. Is that a fair thing to say?
Yeah, no. That was horrible.
Yeah, it was an interesting game. I think, for me personally, I do think it was an enticing game. Maybe just needed a goal in it to spark the life, but I feel like both teams were trying and making a concerted effort to try and win that game. The final third, it was poor for both sides, but it was an entertaining game nonetheless. I'd like to bring your attention to the VAR decision. There was one of two. The first one on Brendan Williams. Now, there was a similar free kick later on in the game where Ashley Young was in a similar situation outside the box. It got given. The one on Brendan Williams didn't. Was that the correct decision, gentlemen? What are your thoughts?
I thought it was a penalty. I think the commentator and the reason for the commentator thought it was a penalty, and the reason why it wasn't given is because supposedly Michael Oliver, the VAR referee, said it was not enough contact. Not enough? Fam, it was contact. He went down. I've seen it given to Mane against Leicester, so I don't understand.
And one was given outside the box.
And it was given out exactly. I have no idea. I hate VAR. I hate what it's doing to the sport. It either needs to get out or improve dramatically.
Yeah. Before I get to that, I just want to say that as much as it wasn't for lack of trying, we played horrible. It was pretty bad. I feel like we held the ball, which is nice. At least we're doing that. That's the first step. But then after that, as we keep saying, we change the system. Like, no shots on target.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. The VAR decision. What are your thoughts on the VAR decision? We'll get to that. Don't worry.
I think it's just down to the whole clear and obvious thing, really. Like, I don't want to argue it too much because I feel like with that, he is upholding the standard that the Premier League is trying to put out. I don't think I agree with the standard, but that's what he's trying to do.
Okay, well then, Shawnee, you make an interesting point about VAR being terrible for the game of football, yada, yada, yada. Not going to get into that. But the second VAR decision, on another day, no VAR, that goes in and Wolves go 1-0 up. Handball. That's the last thing to touch his hand. It's a handball.
No, but, the ref did blow it off for handball initially. But, honestly, I couldn't care less either way. If we lost today, I wouldn't have cared. I'm like, this was so shite. We didn't deserve anything.
Yeah. No, I think with the handball, they've made it clear. Like, I think at least, maybe it's not perfect, but at least there's clarity now with that rule. If it hits a hand, it's not a goal. That's how it is now. So I can agree with that.
Certainly. I think the argument that VAR is bad for the game is a bit harsh. I think it's unintellectual. Although I do understand the emotion, and that response will definitely strike a few nerves, I'm sure. Anyways, moving on. Manchester United, 12 attempts at goal, 0 shots on target. The closest they came to hitting the target was Marcus Rashford when he came on, and his first touch, I'm not sure who he came off of, but it hit the crossbar. What do you guys make of that? I mean, you can't, at this level, surely, after 12 opportunities or attempts at the goal, one of them's got to ask questions of the goalkeeper. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I'm not surprised at all. I expect this now as a United fan. It's very sad, but I expect it, Heck, if I put my gran in front of goals, she'll probably get a shot off a target, but it's just what it is. I think it was also down to the coaching and tactics, but it's nothing new. Like I said, nothing new. Pro shithouse today.
Like, it's laughable. It's honestly laughable. Like, how can we have no shots on target? How is our lack of creativity that bad? I mean, yes, the players weren't really playing in their positions in the midfield, but it's only Pereira. It's only Pereira. But like that midfield should be good enough to create chances. So it's down to the system then. It has to be down to the system. I know we lack quality, but like Matt was in that midfield. Pereira is not too bad. You play Pereira further up, you play. I know we've said this before. You play match in the 6, it gets better. But no, Ole is not going to do that for some odd reason.
I'm not sure I quite agree with that. I really not sure I quite agree with that because you make the argument that the midfield should be creating more chances. Whether the midfield is creating more chances or not, 12 shots at goal. Come on, lad. One of them, at least one of them, with the likes of Mason Greenwood, Marcus Rashford, Tahith Chong, Daniel James especially, one of them has to be hitting the target and asking questions of the goalkeeper. And I'm not going to sit here and defend the midfield. What I'm specifically focusing on is the 12 attempts. Forget the midfield. 12 attempts.
I get
most
that.
of our attempts though
that
came
is
out from like 40 yards.
We've
30
talked about
plus
this before. We've talked about the exact same thing before. For me,
No, we haven't.
kinda I think in the Europa League game.
I've never seen United go through a full game missing every single shot. I'm not talking
not
about
exactly the same. Not exactly the same, but it's a similar situation. And my argument will be similar. It's that yes, they will have chances, but then if you're not getting enough chances from your midfield, then
we didn't miss 12 chances in the Europa League.
It's going to be a whole thing of on this day you're up for it, and another day you're not up for it, and that's the consequence of not having a good midfield.
I still don't agree. We didn't miss 12 chances against Astana in the Europa League. I don't know which game you're talking about, but we did not miss 12 chances.
I get you. But then I'm just looking at the bigger picture here. I'm not gonna bag on the strikers because I know how good they are. I'm looking at the bigger picture.
You can't defend that, mate. You can't defend that. 12 shots. You're a professional footballer. One of them's got a hit. It's as simple as that.
And I seen
One
so
of them's
many
got a hit. You
shots
can't
taken
defend
from 30 yards plus because there's just nothing happening. So they're just like, I'm gonna have it, bang, into the mask.
You've got to ask questions of the keeper at
Into
that level.
us.
You've got to.
Like I said,
Anyways,
if I put my grand there, she would have had a shot on target.
I hear you guys'
Yeah.
argument. It's a valid argument, but then when you look at the bigger problem, if we fix that problem, we don't have that. It will not happen. I can promise you now, with a good midfield, that will not happen.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not. But I'm specifically focusing on the 12 shots on target. I think that's the problem here. Tensions flaring up here in the conversation, but I'm not talking about the midfield. You can take shots at the midfield all you want. 12 shots as an attacking player, none of them hitting the target. That's on you. That's poor. Daniel James had a chance inside the box, and I don't know what he did with it. He hit it through the guy's legs, and then the ball went swerving out.
It was like the Lacazette
He did it in
chance
the
at Arsenal.
Yeah, and he did it in the City game as well, where he took Jesse Lingard's face off. That wasn't going in. So you can defend the midfield as much as you want, but as a professional footballer, you should be hitting at least one towards, even if it's straight at the keeper, you should be asking questions. The opposition goalkeeper should not be walking off the pitch against the Manchester United side saying, I could have had a vacation. I couldn't have come to work today. I couldn't have come to work today because nothing came to my goal. And that is true. And that is disgusting. You can talk about the midfield all you want, but that is disgusting, particularly because it's 12 chances.
Yeah.
And
No, you're right.
I can't defend that. But
I
anyway,
can't argue. You're completely right. But all I'm saying is that if I have to explain it, I'm not saying it's right. If I have to explain it, it's down to two things. It's down to not having a midfield and a lack of morale on the team. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm just trying to explain what it is.
I think it's a lack of accuracy on today's part specifically. Yes, we didn't create enough clear-cut chances, but James should be hitting the target from inside the box. That's a lack of accuracy. Marcus Rashford, that's a debatable one. I don't know what you guys' thoughts are on the Marcus Rashford chance, and he has hit the crossbar anyways.
I thought he should have hit it first.
I thought he should have hit it as well. But I think he should have hit it a bit sooner, actually, before the strike got there. Again, those two chances, I can point out a few more if you want. Those have nothing to do with the midfield. That's got to do with the quality of the attacking players. And the fact that they went upwards is okay, I guess. It's an okay argument to make, and that's your opinion. But moving on, before we start sounding like broken record players, player ratings. What did you guys think of Romero in goal?
He was one of my contenders for man of the match. You know what? Today, I felt like if we had De Gea in goals today, we would have conceded a few of those chances. But I think Romero did amazingly well. I'm gonna give Romero a 7.
That's a fair.
Yeah, no, I think he was, in my opinion, Man United's man of the match. He had a Good save, world-class save. He performed better than De Gea has been in the last few weeks. So I'll give him a 7 as well.
It's funny how people compare Romero to De Gea when Romero is playing against Wolves. De Gea is playing in the Premier League against a more quality opposition. That's the only argument I would make there, but it's fan opinion. Right back, Ashley Young. What did you guys make for him?
I'm going to give Young a 7. I would have played Young today. I agreed with Young playing today. Exactly the shit house player I need in this game. Take the fouls, be dirty, be scruffy, hold this, break this guy, push it. I like, in Young, in games like this, I don't mind. And he's our captain. So I'm going to give Young a 7.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. I won't say good game, but decent game. Better than what he usually does. So 6.5.
6.5 and a 7 for Ashley Young there, and Victor Lindelof in the middle of the defense. What about him then?
It's very quiet. I didn't like. If you asked me what Lindelof did, I can't name you one thing. So I'm just gonna give him 6 average.
I can actually.
Kept a clean sheet.
There was a cross that came in that he took with his head that I think was quite composed actually. If Lindelof makes a mistake there, Wolves have a chance in the box. But other than that, I think you're right. You're spot on. It was a quiet game point.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him average 6. Yeah.
Not much. He didn't do much. It was a quiet game, but I'm just loving Lindelof's composure in the last 2 weeks. He looks like the 8 million defender, not the guy next to him. So I'm gonna give him a 6.5. He had a bad game.
I agree with that.
All right. Interesting. That will strike a few nerves. No doubt somebody out there listening to this podcast is probably trying to pull their hair out right now. Harry Maguire, what about him, gentlemen?
Same as Lindelof. I thought he was very good, though. I thought he was good. He came more into the game today. But
and he had a bit of a niggle.
And he did have a little bit of a niggle. But again, I wouldn't have played Maguire. When are you going to bench him? You gave Jones a contract. Yeah, I understand he's shite. But today, if Maguire got injured today because of that little niggle, or if he is injured for the next games, that's on Ollie. And that's on the fitness stuff, and that's just on the coaching, and that's horrible. But yeah, Maguire himself did everything pretty decently. So I thought again he was average to 6.
Yeah, I have to agree. What's Jones doing at this club if he's not going to play? It just makes no sense whatsoever. But I thought he was better, Maguire. I think the positioning was better than what he usually is. So I'll give him as well as 6.5.
Well, Phil Jones, 5-year contract, and all he did today was warm up. Interesting. Anyways, Brandon Williams, what about him then?
My number 1 choice left back at Man United. I don't care about his age. I think if you're good enough, you're old enough, you put Traore basically most of the time in his pockets. Yeah, Traore did get a few good crosses in, but I think for most of the game, Williams' defending is amazing. It was pretty good. And going forward, I thought that should have been a penalty again on him. And I just think, going forward is amazing. Defending is decent, so I'm going to give Williams an 8 today. Especially because you're up against Adama Traore. Especially because of that.
Yeah, I think he had a good game. I think defensively, that's spot on. He was good. I think going forward, it wasn't as much as usual, but I think that's because the whole team wasn't playing expansive in attack. So I think he deserves a 7.
Agreed. Brandon Williams did make some questionable decisions going forward for me, but that's going to happen. You can't be perfect on the football pitch. It doesn't happen often. So, I've got no problems with that. Nemanja Matic in the middle of the park. What did you gentlemen make of him today?
Before I give Matic a rating, it just was so frustrating. I seen the midfield of Mata, Andreas, and Matic, and he played Andreas on the formation as another CDM, and I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing, fam? You have Matic there and Mata. Just play Andreas and Mata. Box to box. Oh my, it really annoys me. But Matic, I thought, quiet. I didn't really even notice he was there. For Matic, slow. It doesn't really offer much going forward again. Defensively, I didn't really see him. So I'm going to give Matic a 5.
Logically and tactically, that midfield setup makes no sense. I can't begin to defend it. So I just don't know what all is doing. It's really worrying. But yeah, I think Matic, he's better than usual in the last few games. We must give it to him. He's hasn't been too bad. He's composing the ball. He doesn't make the most expansive passes. Like he won't find the killer pass, but then he's passed it clean. So I think he deserves a 6 average game.
Some might call it an agenda. Some might call it negativity. I call it fan opinion, really. Pereira, what did you make of him and his game today out of 10?
The position Pereira was playing today, it was just horrible. And when he went forward again, I felt like he was so restricted. And, with Pereira, you're either going to get that good day of his, or you're going to get like a day today where nothing much again happened, And I thought, Andreas really was kind of poor today. I thought him and Mata, that midfield just doesn't work. That midfield just doesn't work. Yeah. So, I'm going to give Andreas a 5 as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it was Lingard bad, but it was pretty bad. Like, I just didn't see what he did. So
I'm so afraid about that Lingard thing. Like, Ollie didn't pick Lingard today because he was sick.
He was going to pick Lingard, of course. His boy. So I think, below average. He wasn't great. I think he deserves a 5.
I think if I can add my 2 cents here, I think Pereira was, in many ways, like other players in this team, a victim of a bad system and perhaps a lack of depth in that midfield, and he had to fill in for someone else who wasn't there. And what I saw from Pereira was not much, as you say. There was one part in the match in particular where I thought, oh, here he is trying to make things happen again, and the ball probably ended, I don't even know how many rows back, but it was a pretty bad shot. And that's the thing with Pereira. I think Shawnee's hit it hammer on the head. You're either going to get something or you're not, because he's not the type of player who will just sort of sit back and say, well, the team's playing badly, I'm not going to do anything. He's going to try force things to happen. And today it just wasn't happening. He's going to try take that shot.
Interesting stat. He has the most shots out of the box for the team. So it just shows how his character is. He wants to make something happen. Yeah.
I think he's very similar to Marcus Rashford in that he kind of has this free spirit on the park. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I'm not really sure. Probably a bad thing with Pereira. But anyways, moving on. Juan Mata, then out of 10.
Oh, like I said, nothing against the guy. He was a great player. Can never doubt that. But again, I think, like you said, victim of a poor tactical setup today, and just the system. I seen Mata playing centre forward, fam, today. I seen him play centre forward. My man was the head of Greenwood. Fuck me, man. Fuck off. I hate this manager, dude. Like, I'm gonna give Mata a 4 because this guy's a fucking clown. I hate.
Have you just given Mata a 4 on behalf of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
Yeah, this is what happened.
Just to clear it up.
This is how shit he is.
Well, I don't think I've heard that one before.
Yeah.
Maybe I give him a 5 for his decent free kicks that went around.
Like, I'll have to agree with Shani. Like, I don't know what was going on with that attacking line today. But anyway, he still has the technical side to his game. He still has it. And, like, he's the only one making runs. The only player on the field making runs. And that's
made a great bit of runs. Maybe not in the 18-yard area, but Greenwood. I think Greenwood was active in the middle of the park.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. Going forward, you mean in the final third?
I forgot about because he doesn't runs.
Yeah.
But like that's how you make attacking play work. That's how you make position play work. It's the movement off the ball, which is pretty basic. But anyway, I think I can't give him a 6. I think I have to give him a 5. 5. It wasn't anything special.
Look, I'm not going to say I disagree or agree. What I will add is this. With Juan Mata, I think, again, victim of a bad system, but also, I think with Greenwood dropping back and trying to make things happen going forward, ironically, it's kind of forced Juan Mata out of the middle of the park and have to sort of squeeze into Greenwood's position. And I know Mata does that anyways, but I mean, Greenwood was playing very deep today in periods of the game, and he didn't look like a striker in periods of the game. And so I don't think you can fault Juan Mata for that. I really don't. I think it was good that he tried to get forward. It was bad that he couldn't execute, but I think it was good that he tried to get forward, and I think it's a bit unfair to slate him for that. That's all I'm saying. But moving on then, Tahith Chong on the right wing.
Usually Chong is a nightmare, but today I've seen a lot of improvements. I do think he needs to go on loan. Sadly, I just don't see it happening. I feel like Chong and Gomez will just leave this club. I don't blame them. Like Ollie spoke about these two guys, he never plays them. And Gomez, I don't know what's happening with Gomez, but it's just we don't play him. We never. He brought in Dallo instead of Gomez today. This guy is a fucking idiot, fam. I'm telling you.
Can I just add that Deleu's decision making is beyond questionable? But go on.
But I thought better game from Chong today. I thought he was bang average, and that shin injury, like I've been there before, and it really does hurt. I was surprised to actually see him get up, but it just shows the determination he has. So I thought Chong for a game like this, he did pretty average. So I'm gonna give him a 6. I don't want to be too harsh on him.
Yeah, like what was the plan there? Come bring Delo on, like. Was Ola trying to win the game, or what was he doing?
He was today. He didn't look like we wanted to play today. Even that's like fucking get knocked out, fam. Just get knocked out. Don't make me go through this again.
Oh gosh. He tried hard, Chong, but like he didn't look good enough, to be honest. And I don't think that's because he doesn't have the talent. I just think he doesn't get game time. So that will happen. He needs game time. He can get used to playing with the team. So I'll give him a 5.
I completely agree with that last point you had. I think it's an excellent point that you just made. Sorry. Tahith Chong doesn't really play that much. And then he gets taken off, and Delo, who doesn't... I actually haven't seen Delo
injured
in a
for
United jersey.
4 months.
Yeah, I haven't seen Delo in the United jersey, and the first time I do see him, wayward with that shot. Wayward. That shot makes no sense.
Like do you
Even
know what
Pereira
position
wouldn't take that
Diego
shot.
Dallo is? He's a right back.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't even question the talent or the skill behind the shot or even the technique, just the decision. I don't even expect Mbappe to score that. But anyways, Greenwood. Let's not get sidetracked here. Greenwood out of 10.
I thought Greenwood did a lot of things. I seen some skills with Greenwood today. That little turn he does where he puts the ball on one feet
magic turn, and then he
does really. He does. I've seen it often in Greenwood. I thought Greenwood was very good today. I think again, victim of a horrible system. Freaking my man looked like he was playing CDM, attacking mid, then left wing, then right wing, then centre forward, then back. And I'm like, what's going on? I was like, there's no order here. But I thought Greenwood was pretty decent. I thought he was one of our. Like if there was a goal going to come from us, I thought Greenwood was going to get it today. But yeah, I'm going to give Greenwood an average 6.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think work rate, movement, he's extremely agile. He's a really good player, Greenwood. But victim of the system. Like, we can all see it. So I don't know why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can't see it. So I agree with the 6.
I think with Greenwood, besides the one questionable shot he took, which looked very similar to the one Andreas Pereira took, he was absolutely majestic in the middle of the park. He made a lot of effort, he made a lot of runs on and off the ball, and unfortunately just couldn't get anything to happen. I think he was even yelling at Delo to pass it down the wing, and Delo decided to have a crack instead. And the deflection came off Greenwood, unfortunately. So a lot of maturity shown by this young man today in particular. I think maybe the football wasn't quite there, but the character was, and that impressed me a lot about Greenwood. But anyways, Daniel James then, out of 10.
I thought he's way better on that side of the field, but unfortunately we will never probably see him there often because of Marcus Rashford, which is fair. I understand it. But I thought today it was great. Exactly what I like from Ryan James. Today he did get past defenders, he did put in crosses. He had a nightmare of a shot though. But again, I don't blame him. I really don't. I didn't at the beginning of the season. I didn't have high expectation. Then he started off the season with a bang, scoring goals, and now I think we've fallen into the trap. He should bang it in. And I thought he should have at least got it on target, but I don't want to be too harsh on him. I thought he was all right today. Putting across, no one home again. But yeah, 6.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think He didn't have an amazing game, but he looks more comfortable on that left side. So it's a shame that Rashford is just better at the side than he is. So I think attacking in general, we were just horrible today. Horrible. I'd like to know what Woodward thinks watching that game. I'd like to know what goes through Woodward's mind. But yeah, I think I can agree with the 6.
Yeah, well, I thought the front three was poor today, but you may disagree, and that's the whole point of fan opinion. We're not meant to agree on anything. That's the beauty of it, isn't it? Daniel James, not much to say. I think my colleagues have said it all. He does look more comfortable on the left-hand side, and it's unfortunate, once again, that we'll never see him play down there. Really unfortunate. But anyways, I forget who comes off the bench. You know, there's Delot.
Rashford, Delot.
Yeah, Delot is probably the reason for a lot of my anger
and Fred.
towards the end of the game.
Fred.
It's a replay, right?
Yeah,
there is a replay, unfortunately.
Replay is the dumbest thing ever in football. Like, who came with that?
It is. It is.
I really hate this rule. Like
replay is basically like, you guys will have a second leg if you can't sort it out in the first leg, but we prefer that you sort it out in the first leg.
I don't even know when the replay will be done, but
yeah.
But yeah, with the subs, you know.
I think it's because, and I'm assuming, I think it's because at a point it was the only tournament and they needed a lot of games, so that's why they did that. But you know how English people are, oh, it's tradition, so let's just keep it anyway. Which is so stupid.
I don't want to go too much on too much of a tangent, but they could have just made 2 legs then. If they want 2 games, just make it 2 legs. Oh, football, the game that we love. Look, off the bench, I don't think there's much.
I don't think we can really rate him. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, we can't because Marcus Rashford had the 1 touch, and really unfortunate to hit the bar. But besides him, nothing really. And Fred's not a bad player, but he just came on too late. So I think Delot gets a 3 from me. I know I don't do player ratings, but Delot gets a 3 from me because of his decision making. Just for the banter.
Yeah. You know, I get what you're saying, but you know, I kind of like Delot, and you know, I understand why you give him 3. It's fair. You know, it's all about fan opinion and stuff. But I did feel like he shouldn't have come on. Like, I thought Gomez should have come on. All he put him on, he was like, go play right wing, do something. After 4 months of injury, you bring him on, and you're like, go play right. Oh, what are you doing, fam? I don't blame him. I'm just like, come on now. It's like funny. Same with the Mata thing. I don't blame him, but left for dead.
I'm just having a pop at him.
He comes into play there because he can cross, but we don't make the runs for the crosses. We don't have the height for the crosses.
Exactly.
It makes no sense at all.
We don't have the players for the crosses either, even if the runs were there. I mean, Greenwood, Rashford, and maybe Martial are probably talented enough to get to a header, but in terms of physicality, it's not what you want when playing that playing style.
And all those players are huge.
And with what you've seen today is Martial was sick, so you couldn't be even on the bench today. But what you've seen today is when Martial doesn't play, no one holds the ball up, and you know there's no composure or something to build on. It's dead.
Yeah,
it is dead, and that's why I'm saying, you know, anyone who has a Martial agenda, you don't understand football, man. You really don't understand.
Well, we saw it with Greenwood today because Greenwood looked a lot like Martial today, like removed the flair and the majestic touches. And that's no disrespect to Anthony Martial, but we don't really see him going for flamboyant tricks. They look very similar when there isn't much in the game. I mean, Greenwood is a talented footballer, but I can definitely listen to someone say Greenwood wasn't really there today. And I go, yeah, I agree. Not because he played badly, but just because of the system. And it's the same thing with Martial.
Yep.
I think with Anthony Martial, because he plays so much for Manchester United in this depleted squad, he does get a lot of stick for it, and people almost become used to that. They forget the Martial that we signed and the Martial who played so well in that Louis van Gaal season. And they look at the guy who just can't get things to happen because of how bad the midfield is. Yeah. I think that's what happens with Martial. It's unfortunate. Yeah. I lost my train of thought. I wanted to say something. Oh, yes. It's a strange result, this. I want to go back to the result. I want to go back to the 0-0 scoreline. I want to go back to the fact that I don't think any of us expected it, but it's a strange result. And I think it's a negative for Manchester United and even for Wolves, but more so Manchester United, because it's another game against the same team in an already packed month.
Yeah.
No transfers. That at least it doesn't seem like there's any transfers that are realistic at the moment, because the message coming out from the club is if it's the right player and the right price, we'll go for him. So what are your guys' thoughts on that? I'm sure it's pretty negative.
If we don't sign a midfielder, I just don't know, because most of our backups are injured, I've heard. So like, what's the plan there? What if the two get injured? We have no midfielders.
Yeah.
Like I just can't fathom how they can think like that and think that's the right thing to do.
What the board needs to do, we need signings, all right? Now, even if it's desperate, this just shows that we have no players. We have no players. The board has to do signing. Whether they do that or not, we can't control it as fans. Really, it's unfortunate. And then with Oli, oh my God. Oli Gunnar Solskjaer, right? If you're listening somehow, some way, you're a fucking clown, mate. Fucking clown. The only reason you weren't smiling today, my friend, is because RBP came out and battered you. None of this friendship bullshit. He came out and he battered you. He called you a clown. Well, he didn't say that, but he was underestimating you as a manager, in all fairness. And you're out of your depth. You don't know what you're doing. The only reason you didn't smile today is because RBP had a pop at you for smiling when you're losing 2-0 to fucking Arsenal, fam. You got no tactics, you've got no plan, no direction, no future, and you need to get out the club.
Yeah. I'm not even sure if Mogul wants him back. Honestly. I think today was more Wolves not playing up to scratch. I think they did. We were going to lose that game.
Yeah, like
they got fed up. The funny thing, when Wolves woke up, they looked like the big team in that game. We were like, oh, they're coming out now, so let's sit back and just hit them on the break.
You would have had your heads in your heart. I mean, your heart in your stomach is the saying, sorry, if you were a United fan towards the end there, because Wolves did look like a team that was going to go on and win that game. I agree. For me, from a neutral point of view, I think besides the fact that, the game needed a goal to inject some life into it, it was a pretty decent game. I would have been entertained by it because, and I think that's because of Wolves mainly. I think if we had tried to play a bit more, with a bit more intensity, fluidity in the middle of the park, creativity, it would have brought a bit more out of Wolves, because then they would have had something to work with on the break. I think part of the problem for Wolves was that they had to step up. If they wanted this result, they had to hold the ball and they had to make something happen, because Manchester United certainly wasn't going to. And that's why Wolves played the way they did. And credit to them, it looked like they were going to make something happen in that second half. So you're absolutely right. It was scary when Wolves woke up.
I agree with your analysis 100%. I think Wolves play exactly like we do. They rely on the counter. But then for them, it's fine because they're a small team. But,
yeah.
Like, when are we going to rate Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? I'm excited to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, we can rate him now. I wasn't planning to, but we can. We can go ahead.
All right, I gave him a negative 100 at Arsenal. My boy Oli is coming in at a negative 101. Fuck! I hate this man. Hate him. I absolutely hate him. He needs to get out, man. Now, I would do this job for free. I would do it for free. I promise you, I'll play better football. I'd have more tactics than this clown. And I don't even care. I could get sacked. I could go lose every single game, but I would play way better football than this clown. I hate him. He's got nothing. I don't see anything. Again, if it was draw, but we could see a vision and a plan and some progress, I would be happy. But there was nothing. It was the same performance, game in, game out. Either it goes one way, it doesn't. I hate him.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Woodward's going to have egg on his face because this is not going to work. It's not going to work. I don't know why he's putting so much trust in Ole. When he's shown before that he can fire managers, maybe not for the right reason, but he's shown that he can fire managers. But now he's put all his eggs into this Ole Gunnar Solskjaer basket. And yeah, they're going to be all over his face. I gave him a -5 against Arsenal. They were a little bit better today, so I don't know, -3.
Well, technically he got 2 ratings, and even the first one, which seems a lot better than -100, is better, but 4 out of 10 on behalf of Oli anyways. I think I agree. It's it's a difficult one to process with this manager, and I feel like for a lot of the top Reds out there, and the people who grew up watching this club, it's a bit of a mixed bag emotions having this guy there, because you're expected to judge him based on the fact. Well, actually, according to the club, you're expected to respect him as a club legend. As a fan, you want to judge him as a manager, but it's so hard. Well, if you're a top Red and one of those United fans, you know who I'm talking about. It will be difficult to judge him. It's a hard pill to swallow, but this guy is playing against a team that he probably should beat. And I'm not convinced. Periods of that game are more than enough evidence to me to say that Wolves was the better side today. And if you don't agree, then go on and have a look at the shots on target. Go on and look at those stats.
Yeah. I might not be a top Red, but I will not let my expectations drop for this football club. I will not. I refuse for it to drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a joke. We're honestly a joke.
Yep. Well, anyways, before this turns into slating United, I think we can call it there, gentlemen. I think it's been a good show. I hope and trust that wherever you're listening from, you've had a great weekend and a great week to start off the new year. I certainly have, because Johnny's reactions will always release my endorphins. I can't get enough laughs at this rate. So do leave a like on the video. Do subscribe. Do get down in the comments down below. Help us build this community. And we will catch you in the next one. Peace out. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.